winning is everything. And it's about the only thing that former Rookie of the Year and fourth-year pro Bill O'Neill has failed to do. A few weeks back, he lost in the Motor City Open to Chris Barnes here at the World Series of Bowling. Today, O'Neill is back, hoping his 12th TV show will be the charm in a tournament that he nearly won last year, the Chameleon Championship. To get back to the final, he'll have to defeat a Hall of Famer in Amleto Monacelli. From Detroit and the historic Thunderbowl lanes, the World Series of Bowling rolls on now. Back in the Motor City for Week 5 of the PBA's inaugural World Series of Bowling. Today it's the Chameleon Championship. And Randy, if you're the oil, prepare to be moved, beat on, and pounded on because we have some high-rev, high-horsepower guys on the show.
Yeah, Rob, you're right. If there was no oil on the lanes, you would see sparks coming out from underneath these players' bowling balls, starting with Sean Rash. High-powered player, big backswing, a lot of ball speed. Ronnie Russell, same mold. Big backswing, a lot of power. Amleto Monacelli makes his return back to the tour as an exempt player. And Bill O'Neill making his second telecast.
Side story here, which may become a major story, is Amleto Monacelli, the Hall of Famer, battling a nasty forearm injury.
And you're right, and I spoke with Amleto Monacelli. He doesn't know if he's going to be able to go.
Right now, I'm just, I have really no expectation. It hurts a lot. Fortunately, the lanes are hooking. I cannot put too much rev on the ball. I don't need to put that much rev on the ball anyways, but it's really, I really have to concentrate and not think about the pain, but it's really painful right now.
Amleto injured during his quarterfinal match. We'll have more on that a little bit later. Here are the competitors on today's show. Semi number 1, Rash versus Russell, then O'Neill Monacelli. In the women's final, part of the PBA Women's Series presented by Bowl.com, it'll be CDB, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard taking on Shannon Pluhowsky. Time now for our semifinal 1 introductions.
He is looking for his first Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title. He owns 3 PBA regionals, 3 top 10 finishes last year from Indianapolis, Indiana. Please welcome Ronnie Russell. His opponent has 4 titles, including the 07 Masters for 1 major. He's a 4-time member of Team USA. 2-time
back, baby. It's Sunday.
Wichita State for Wichita, Kansas. Like him or not, Sean Rash.
Detroit!
Take a look now at our quarterfinal bracket. Love that Rash entrance, by the way. Rash took care of Chad Floss in the quarters. Bill O'Neill dispatched Walter Ray Williams Jr., Monacelli by Andres Gomez, and Russell defeating Brian Kretzer. Russell will start us off here in semifinal number 1. And both Russell and Rash, as part of our PBA Inside Angle here, both wearing earpieces and microphones. We can talk to them throughout semifinal number 1 today.
4-9 split.
And a tough opening leave for Russell to start off semifinal number 1.
Just want to stay clean, man. What's up with that?
29-year-old from Indianapolis, 7th year on the tour, winless on the tour so far.
All the lights.
See him looking up at the lights. I don't know if that's looking for an excuse on why he starts with an open frame 8.
I think one of the lights up top may have flickered, but hey, Ronnie, welcome to television.
No one said it was easy under the lights. Sean Rash from Wichita, Kansas, 4 titles.
Bless you.
27-year-old in the midst of his 5th year on the PBA Tour.
And this guy doesn't hold anything back with his bowling ball either.
Dun-dun-dun, Ching. I hear you, buddy.
Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
A little bit through the nose there.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah, real heavy on the head pin, Rob, leaving the 4-6-7. Now watch him matriculate this spare ball down the lane. That's fast.
That's not a Sunday stroll. So both Russell and Rash start with open frames in the first. Time now for our lumber liquidators. Know the wood, the chameleon oil pattern this week, Randy.
39 feet in length. Remember, all the patterns were tweaked this season, and this pattern got real tough as the week progressed. Only 300 games, but very flat. Don't let that graph fool you. These lanes played extremely flat side to side.
First strike of this match, he took some time away from the lanes during the brief off-season. Said, you know, I wanted to make my mental game stronger, get back to where it was a few years ago when the things weren't getting in my head. Things like balking that he had big issue with last season, Randy.
You can see the powerful stroke of Sean Rash playing the 25th, 26th board on the left side of the lane.
4-6-7 split for Russell, who finished 25th on the PBA point list last season, which retained his exemption.
Yeah, and he did that by missing the first 6 events he wasn't eligible for, and he still finished in the 20s. So, you know, what a nice season that Ronnie had. You know, it's interesting that Ronnie's choosing to play the lanes about 2 arrows straighter than Sean is.
You see what Sean Rash is doing? He does what he likes to do, and that's get in and wheel on it. Really throw that big banana hook. Ronnie Russell, on the other hand, is about 10 boards to the right, and he said the key for him is to roll the ball out in front of the pocket. So in order to do that, he has to keep his hand underneath the back of the ball and roll it real heavy. As you can see, both had the same end result.
Gets his first strike.
That's a good start after going back-to-back open frames. He needs to get something going now, Rob.
So Rash steps up in the third, working off a strike, trying to match Russell's strike. That great start he had in his TV career, 7-0, 0-2 since then.
Sean's just going to get way inside and wail on it today. I mean, he sees how flat this ugly oil pattern has turned out to be, and he's like, well, I can try to go real straight and firm, or I can just move in and bang on it.
Another open frame for Rash. And we are even through 3.
Come on.
Rob, this is just a brain cramp. This is what happens when your mind gets overoccupied by trying to figure out how to hit the pocket. He loses focus and concentration and whiffs a very easy spare.
We begin the fourth.
Oof. And that just makes things worse. When you're bowling on a tough oil pattern, it's hard to get to the pocket, and then when you do, you don't strike. It's like salt in the wound.
What is so tough about this chameleon oil pattern?
Extremely flat. Middle's that hook. The outside part of the lane is tight.
Got that one.
Picks up that spare.
Sean, how tough is this oil pattern?
I don't know if it's oil patterns being tough or it's us not getting out of our own way right now. It's all about filling frames, and neither one of us done a good job so far, first 3 frames.
Regardless, it is going to be a battle as this one continues. We'll be back with semifinal number 2 between Rash and Russell after this. The PBA Chameleon Championship is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Bear Aspirin, expect wonders. And by the United States Bowling Congress, the all-new bowl.com, your online source for all things bowling. Log on to bowl.com today. And we welcome you back to ESPN's continuing coverage of the PBA Chameleon Championship, coming your way from Thunderbowl. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, and Ronnie Russell. Hey, Ronnie, what's going on with the lanes, and how do you get the ball to strike more for you right now?
The middle of the lane just hooking quite a bit right now, and keep trying to force our ball through it, and it's probably not the way to do it. Just got to keep our hand behind it, keep a stable roll.
Ronnie, thanks for your time. And
not a problem.
Ronnie steps up to complete the fourth. There's a look at his wife, Michelle. Ready to bring in another Russell into the family to join Caden and Cameron. Back-to-back jacks for Russell.
Well, you heard him say it. Keep your hand behind it, hit your target, and execute. He did it perfectly there. Two ways to get to the pocket: the deep inside line of Sean Rash, the straight shot that Ronnie Russell is using. In any case, you better execute.
Make it three. And Russell, after that commercial timeout, maybe has finally figured this one out.
Yeah, and he's just taking his hand out of it, getting that ball to roll end over end. Watch this. Beautiful follow through right by his right ear, hands behind it. That keeps the ball on line and keeps it from doing crazy things down the lane.
So the lead now at 20 for Rash to step up, the winner of this match, to take on the winner of the Bill O'Neill Amleto Monacelli semifinal. Monacelli battling a forearm injury, not sure yet if he's going to be able to compete. He's out and back warming up. And he finds his second strike.
Well, he was reading Ronnie Russell's book. He just moved 10 boards to the right, changed balls, and went straighter. You know how I know this?
Because you're extremely intelligent?
That, plus I've got all of the information from CATS, provided to us by our good friends at the Kegel Training Center. It's telling me the exact boards, speed, bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of information there, Rob. You tell me what you want to hear, I can give it to you. There you go right there. There's your CATS comparison.
Little right of target.
Now, but keep in mind, when Sean moves right and tries to go a bit straighter and try to get into that same zone that Ronnie Russell is, he must reduce rev rate. And it's a fine line. This one, just not enough hand, barely hangs on only to leave the tooth in. That's a really good break.
Talked with Rash about taking on Russell and the fact that Russell's never won a title, and he said, you know what, there might be a little bit more pressure on Ronnie. I got to kind of keep that pressure on him. Maybe that will work to my favor. Have we seen any pressure in Ronnie Russell's game yet?
I think he's handled it pretty well. He goes 4-9 first frame, through the nose, second frame, three-bagger.
Yeah.
He's got a nice, comfortable 20-pin lead, can extend it to 30 with a strike here.
Hambone!
Welcome to Shot Making 101. Your host, Ronnie Russell. Watch this, man. This is as good as it gets on a very difficult, very tough oil pattern. Ronnie Russell just throws a four-bagger, Rob.
So, Ronnie, you opened up with two open frames. You follow it with the ham bone. What has changed for you?
I just picked up my speed a little bit. That second open frame I had, my hand touched the side of it, and you just don't want to do that. It's going to take off when it hits friction. Throwing about the weakest bowling ball you can throw right now, pretty much.
Do you want me to explain to you what he just said?
Please.
Okay, well, when he gets around the side of it just a bit, which is what he did in the second frame, because there's so much friction, the ball's going to go sideways. The key is to roll it more end over end to keep the ball on line.
Oh.
Left of target.
Not that much.
Left of target.
One board.
And he pays the full price. Right over third arrow.
Don't touch the bottom.
He's been right around the 14th board on that left lane. One board left of target equals big four.
And 3 of the big 4 are left standing there in the 7th. Creates a bit of an opening for Sean Rash. Now down just 10, bottom of the 7th. Little noise in the background. He steps away and regains focus. Woo, late drop of the 7 to spare him a 7-10 effort.
Yeah, that's the last thing he wanted to look at was a pocket 7-10. He wanted that shot. It was a good shot, but now he's faced with a 10-pin.
So Rash takes care of the 10-pin, his 3rd spare of this match. Rash back in action next week as part of the PBA Scorpion Championship live coverage on ESPN 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Sean Rash taking on Mike Devaney. The other men's semifinal has local favorite Thomas Smallwood taking on the 2-hander from Australia, Jason Belmonte. The women's final features a pair of women making their 2nd World Series of bowling telecast. Liz Johnson and Pluhowsky. And then in 2 weeks, it's the PBA Shark Championship. Reigning PBA Player of the Year Wes Malott headlines it, taking on Michael Fagan, Jason Couch, Jack Jurek also there. The women's title, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard versus Kelly Kulick.
Those are so 4 good shots. Come on.
See the speed there, just a little fast at 21 miles an hour on that left lane. He's around 20 miles an hour with every shot on the right lane. And, you know, getting back to the scores and talking about the oil patterns, this side where the arena finals are is a much older synthetic than what the players qualified in the middle portion of this center. It's a huge place, a lot of lanes. And all of the players have said the same thing. When they come over to the arena finals, the older synthetics, it's a much more worn surface, and they tend to hook 2 more arrows in the arena than they do in the rest of the center.
Russell up 12, a great opportunity to pad that lead as we close out the 8th.
That's a huge break. Tripping that 8 out late.
Jeez. That one too hard, Delmo.
See that big high vertical backswing cupped at the top of the swing, but very soft with the hand at the release point. Ronnie Russell can hook it with the best of them out here on this pattern. He found more success going straight.
Last year for Russell, you know, he said, man, all different kinds of levels of stress. You know, one part, not sure I had a job. The second part, I had a chance to win, you know, 2nd in Indianapolis last season, but he still considers it his breakout year.
You know, I didn't get to full season as exempt last year and still made it. So that proved to me that I had what it took to be out here. Now I just need to take the next step and win.
There's his numbers from last year.
The fly just flew right in front of me. Fly just flew right in front of me.
We'll have to get an exterminator on that.
What else can go in this match?
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do when there's an insect problem, Rob.
I was hoping you were going to be able to circle the fly for me, but I couldn't see it.
Couldn't see it. Yeah.
Good pickup, but the door is still open for Rash.
Yeah, so we're still at a 10-pin deficit for Sean Rash going in the 9th and 10th frame.
Rash, just 2 strikes this match. On the left lane in the 2nd, on the right lane in the 5th. He's on the right lane here in the 9th.
You mentioned Sean Rash as being the leading qualifier. He averaged 222 in match play here in the arena, only 208.
No one just kind of seizing this match and taking it over.
Yeah, there's just the oil pattern is just brutal, and it's not lending itself to a lot of strikes and high scores. So the guys know that they're in for a battle. They just got to bear down, execute, stay out of trouble, make shots.
Picks up the spare. So Russell and Rash both spare in the 8th and the 9th.
Good shot again.
11-pin lead for Russell. We're done with the foundation. It's now time for the money frame 10th. There's Sean's longtime girlfriend, Sarah. She's feeling the nerves.
Money ball.
All right, two more to put him at 184. Ronnie Russell is going at a 185 pace, meaning Ronnie would then have to get up and go strike spare in the 10th frame to win by 1.
Rash has lost his last 2 matches on television. Last season, we saw him with some mental breakdowns, a flurry of balks, just a lot of kind of voices in his head type things.
And look how fidgety he is right now.
Yeah.
Obviously a big shot, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right there.
Push. Such a better game than that.
Well, it's not over. He covers a 3-6-9-10. Ronnie Russell still has to mark in the 10th frame.
And not an easy thing on this chameleon oil pattern this afternoon.
So Ronnie's already got 3 opens.
Oh, my.
Good count, Sean. He doesn't even need count. Idiot. How do you do that?
Now he has virtually no chance.
Now, that's the one thing he was really trying to avoid this season, were these voices in his head, the fidgeting, and they just pounced on him. Ronnie Russell needs just 8 pins to move on to the title match.
And 8 is just enough. So it'll be Russell
Moving on, and Rash knows his day is done with a 170.
And you see how huge that spare was that Sean missed? If Ronnie fails to convert here, like he did just there, Sean wins the game.
Ronnie Russell moves on to the title match. When we return, we'll find out who he'll face. It's men's semifinal number 2 on the backside. Bill O'Neill taking on the Hall of Famer, Amleto Monacelli. Welcome back to the PBA Chameleon Championship. Time to meet our next semifinalists.
He made a career-high 7 television shows, earning 2 seconds and 3 thirds last year. From Levittown, PA, meet the real deal, Bill O'Neill. His opponent owns 19 PBA Tour titles, including 1 major, 2-time PBA Player of the Year from Barquisimeto, Venezuela, Amleto Monacelli.
Amleto Monacelli, one of the most popular players in the history of the PBA, selected number 21 in the PBA's top 50 players of all time.
No shock there with 19 career titles, including 1 major. He won the 1989 Touring Players Championship, and it was that year, Rob, that he brought home the first of 2 back-to-back Player of the Year titles.
No, Monacelli won a title back in 2005. He lost his PBA Tour exemption after an 06-07 season in which he battled an injury to his hip and to his upper leg.
My mental game was not there. I didn't care if I made it. and it was perfect timing. The injury came, and I think actually the injury came because I wasn't, I didn't want to be there. For whatever reason, I was tired. And I knew that I was going to get the itch back because I love the competition.
Amleto Monacelli persevered. He reappeared for a pair of events last season, and he made it to the finals of last season's U.S. Open in April, where he finished 5th.
Now, a few months later, Amleto is a Chameleon Championship semifinalist, but he's not in top form due to a painful arm injury that threatened to keep him from competing.
The injury, a direct result of what he had to do to win in his quarterfinal match.
On 3 and 4, the lanes were hooking. I mean, I couldn't even say. It was unbelievable, and I had to throw the ball so hard and so straight that I think I did something to the tendon.
And Rob, just a Herculean effort by a true legend. He made a huge adjustment, went from hooking it, he brought the heat, moved right through it straight, and that's what won him the match. But unfortunately, he paid the price.
So it's Monacelli versus O'Neal. Here's how Randy and I called it just a few moments ago. What pain!
And speaking with Amleto, he said the lanes are dry, they're hooking. I can be pretty soft with my release. That's the one thing that's going to help me possibly get through this. I don't have to wrench on it. I don't have to use a lot of hand. He says that's probably the only chance I have.
Yeah, helps takes the stress off that forearm. But he's clearly bothered by it. We talked to him before this match. He said, the last tournament really started to flare up, continued to bowl, couldn't continue, had to walk away. Went to get it checked out. They said it's not torn. It's just an overused tendon from the forearm to the bicep. Essentially, to simplify, it is tendinitis.
So that's how it went for Amleto through the first 2 frames of this semifinal match. The 3rd frame would signal the beginning of the end, though.
At that point, it became apparent Monacelli would not be competitive. The pain was just way too intense.
Now, Amleto would finish the match, but through four open frames for a Hall of Famer.
Oh.
But despite the pain, Monacelli made it through, even managing to strike in the 10th.
My hard ball, my physical game was not there. Every shot I threw, it just hurt like you have no idea. At one point that I was, in tears at one point, it just hurt so much.
Though he gave it his all, the superstar from Venezuela could only manage a 142 to O'Neal's 170. Bill O'Neal, though, the gracious winner, he knew that Amleto was capable of much, much more if he wasn't hampered by that injury.
Sorry, man, I don't want to win that way.
I know, it's terrible, but that's the way. Go the way now.
Thank you.
O'Neal will take the win. He will need to do much better to beat Ronnie Russell in the Chameleon Finals and claim his first career title in the PBA Tour.
And that final, in its entirety, along with the women's title match, is coming up as the PBA Chameleon Championship continues. The PBA Chameleon Championship is brought to you by Roto-Grip, the fastest growing bowling ball brand in the world. Roto-Grip is king of them all. By Brunswick, the Deadly Siege, a high-performance bowling ball from Brunswick. Choose the Siege and let the mayhem begin. By Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. And by Barbazol. Enjoy the rush, America. New Barbazol Pacific Rush Shaving Cream. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson back here with you at Thunderbowl, our continuing coverage of the PBA Chameleon Championship. Women's finals up next. But Randy, have you ever worked as a pin setter?
No, Rob, I can't say that I have, but rumor has it that you went behind the scenes and got your hands dirty.
We are behind the scenes, literally at a PBA event. Behind me, all the pin setter machines. Not only are we behind the scenes, we're on top of it. I'm shaking, I'm jimming, I'm jiving. Right below here, this is Wes Malot's lane with an incoming weapon coming in. And now a new rack getting set to drop his way. Things you learn when you're standing above the pin setter machine. As you see the head pin up here, and the new ones come in. The 9 pin over there, the last one to go in. Man, comes out here without warning. We are joined by Bill Alexander, the chief mechanic back here, and America wants to know, how's your hearing?
What's that?
What is the one thing that people don't realize about bowling that you know because you spent so much time back here?
Well, I think a lot of people don't even realize there's actual people back here working on these machines so they can have some fun.
All right, now there has to be a ton of tools of the trade, and I don't know, this thing looks like something should be called a gigger, but what is this?
This is called a pin hook. We use this to set spares up, and sometimes the pins go flying out there, and we call that deadwood, and we get them and pick them up with this. It's like an extendo arm, that's what I like to call it.
Now the pins can come flying out of here as well, right?
Oh yeah, you have to watch what you're doing back here, I tell you that.
Have you ever been hit?
Oh yeah, right in the shin. It doesn't feel good, I can tell you that right now.
Now what would happen if I just flipped these down here and hit that?
They wouldn't be too happy with you.
With you, not me, you.
With me, you're right.
We love Bill, and he wanted to give the kudos to his entire crew. It's not just him back there doing all the work. When we return, the women's final. Shannon Pluhowsky, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, and then after that, the men's. Bill O'Neill versus Ronnie Russell. One of them will walk away with their first ever PBA Tour title. The World Series of Bowling rolls on. Time now, the PBA Women's Series presented by Bowl.com. Here are your finalists for the Chameleon Championship.
She is the 2006 Queens winner, 9-time member of Team USA, 4 times on Junior Team USA from Phoenix, Arizona, Shannon Pluhowsky. Her opponent won the Women's Series Cheetah Championship in 2008. She owns 20 pro titles. 2-time Bowler of the Year from Keller, Texas, CDB, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard.
Let's check in on the women's semifinal action here at the Chameleon Championship. On one side of the brackets, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, CDB, and Jody Wester. They went to 7 games. CDB winning it 246 to 218. In the other semifinal, it was Shannon Pluhowsky 4-2 over Liz Johnson. That 6th game, a tight one. Pluhowsky taking it 256 to 248. Pluhowsky will start us off on the left lane, the lefty from Phoenix, Arizona.
What a great game she has, Rob. I just love watching her throw it. Just a smooth rhythm and tempo. Great arm swing, beautiful release, and a nice result.
Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, 45-year-old mother of 1 from North Richland Hills, Texas. Wife of Hall of Famer Del Ballard. Gets the Brooklyn strike. She'll take it, but certainly not what she wanted, Randy.
Boy, that ball checked up pretty early, and that's the last thing your opponent wants to see is have
Have you cross over and go Brooklyn. Watch this. It never gets far enough right, and then all of a sudden it looks like somebody kicks it left, and that's flush Brooklyn. Now let's see if she can capitalize on it on this left lane and get one in the 1-3 for a double.
Still left of where she wants to be.
And Rob, we've already talked about how tough this oil pattern is. The middle part of the lane is very dry. If you miss target to the inside, there's no way the ball's going to hold its line.
Ballard had the messenger take down the 10-pin in the first frame. No luck here in the second, trying to clean it up with a spare. Just saw her spare percentage this week. You love the face from CDB. She lets you know where she stands at all times, doesn't she, with her facial expressions, as we take a look at the tail of the tape between our two finalists, CDB and Shannon Pluhowsky.
Well, we already know how tough the right side of the lane is. Shannon Pluhowsky, our only southpaw. If she has a good look on her side, could spell big trouble for Carolyn Dorin-Ballard.
Back-to-back jacks for Shannon P.
Shannon using two different bowling balls and looks lined up early on. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard,
not so much.
That's called flush in the biz, Rob, just so you know.
I like your terminology. Pluhowsky lost in the season opening Women's World Championships to Kelly Kulik, 219-204.
3 for 3.
And nothing like tripping the 6-7-10 late for a three-bagger. Watch this. This ball's going to drift just a pinch high. She's like, all right, no split. No, okay. Wow. It's like finding money on the street.
Well, in your back pocket. I've always loved that. Ooh, where'd that 20 come from? CDB in the third, working off a spare. But she has still not found the pocket yet.
Well, she went to another ball, and it actually tried to push a little bit farther right. But the last three shots, all of them way too heavy on the head pin. Carolyn likes to go down and in. She's a down and in player. And so the move for her would be to somehow try to take her hand out of it, move a little bit right, and get that ball to just go a little bit straighter down the lane. I don't see her moving in and opening the lane up.
And want to remind you, coming up here after the Women's Championship, the men's title match, Bill O'Neill, the real deal, looking for title number 1, taking on Ronnie Russell. Back-to-back spares for CDB.
Last year for her, another great year. She says anytime you win, it's going to be a good year. Bowled well at the U.S. Open, the Queens, the mixed doubles. 3 career majors for CDB. Second at this year's U.S. Open. Still has not won that title.
That could have been a 7-10 split. Instead, she drops all 10.
Yeah, that could have been 5. I mean, she's got 2 strikes in 4 frames, and she's very, very lucky to have that. 1 Brooklyn, 1 nosediver. Take a look at this. This cuts right through the heart, and that's just a huge break.
It has not been pretty, but it's been fairly effective. CDB not bowling a strong game, but she is still in it through 3.5. We welcome you back to the Thunderbowl here in Allen Park, Michigan, continuing coverage of the PBA Chameleon Championship. Fred Schreier on the left, the PBA Commissioner. On the right of your screen, Tom Clark, the PBA Deputy Commissioner. Time now for a World Series of Bowling tip with Randy, and nobody releases them better than Randall.
Hey, folks, let's talk about release for a moment. You know, we always talk about trying to work the inside part of the ball, but under no circumstances do I want you to start like this. This is going to put your hand, forearm, and bicep in a very stressful position. We don't want that. What we want is we want to take a page out of Chris Barnes's book. Get that hand to start a little bit more on the side. This is a very relaxed position. It's going to make that swing nice and free. Now, as that ball swings back, let's catch it on the way down and work that hand to the inside. You do this, I promise, you'll hook the ball more and you'll throw more strikes.
Randy, you know who does that whole line it up with your bicep forearm thing?
Who's that, pal?
Me.
Really?
Until today. Thank you for the tip. While we were away, Shannon Pluhowsky, bottom of the fourth. Yeah, that's opening up with a 4-bagger, and then in the fifth, the strike streak would come to a close as she left with 7, but would clean that up. CDB in the fifth, off a strike in the fourth, and goes left and leaves the 7th, clean it up. In the 6th, goes right and leaves the 7th, but will clean it up. So now Pluhowsky, bottom of the 6th with a 32-pin advantage.
Well, it is pretty to watch. When she is dialed in, it is nice TV.
Look at this swing. Great knee bend. Posts the shot at the foul line. Really good hand, a lot of revs, good ball speed. She's the real deal. She's got the whole package, and all she needs to do is continue moving in that direction, and she's going to be a handful for all of the women out here.
That was an uh-oh.
And you know what? When you say uh-oh, as soon as it leaves your hand and you shred the rack, that's a really good thing.
Unless you're Carolyn Dorin-Ballard.
Yeah. Take a look at Shannon Pluhowsky right around the 8 or 9 board on the left side. Look at Carolyn. Look at all the moves she's made. Remember what I said? It looks like she should have moved farther to the right, and that's exactly what she did on the last shot.
25-13.
Wow. It's a big move.
Huge move.
And obviously she had to make a ball change to allow her to do that. And again, she has now found pocket with no pin carry. Backswing behind her, just a pinch, but you see how the hand stays behind the ball. That's how you roll it.
You know,
good shot, but a bad result.
The advice her daughter Alyssa, who just entered kindergarten, would give her on that one, because she does this on the phone. Mommy, bend your knees and follow through. I love it.
Good advice.
That's great advice. And Carolyn told me that today. She's like, that's really, Rob, all it really comes down to. Bend those knees and follow through. My daughter, who's in kindergarten, is coaching me.
Yeah, I had a lot more stuff going through my head. It wasn't that simple when I was on the tour.
3 spares in a row for CDB in a huge hole as we begin the 8th. I just love the nonverbals of Carolyn. You always know where she stands.
Yeah, you could fry an egg on her forehead right now. She's so hot. I mean, she is boiling right now.
You know, it's part of that Czech, Ukrainian, Irish blood that is coursing through her veins. One of the greats on the tour. Here's Pluhowsky, 6 strikes through 7. Another one in the 8th. That shot of CDB just a few seconds ago was the look of someone ready to congratulate somebody else for winning a title.
Possible 279 for Shannon if she takes it off the sheet.
She's 3 away from doing that. And that strike has given the match to Pluhowsky. And CDB will just bowl out and at least try and end on a positive note.
That's just going to add a little fuel to the fire.
Yeah, you may want to give her some time to settle down after this match is over. Don't ask for autographs right away.
Yeah, I would let that one breathe for a while. And Rob, don't make reference to the 5-pin.
Nor will I. Only 2 strikes in this match for Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. Very un-CDB-like performance. Yeah, she's in the mood right now where I don't want your applause. I just want to bowl, shake Shannon's hand, and get out of here. A strike. But not one that's going to put a smile on her face.
No.
Pluhowsky is ready to flash the pearly whites as she has just won her 2nd career PBA Women's Series title. There it is. Enjoy it. Was that her whispering, I did it?
I think so.
I think I heard that, yeah. There you go, CDB. Well, Carolyn came into this one attempting to become the only woman to win a title in all 3 seasons of the PBA Women's Series. It will not happen at this event.
But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is not the last time you're going to see Carolyn.
I would concur, my friend. So here's your champion, Pluhowsky, stepping up in the 10th. CDB done with an ugly 204 in her book. Well, it has been nothing but beauty from Shannon P today.
So with the win, Shannon becomes the 3rd woman to qualify for the PBA Women's Series Showdown presented by Bowl.com, a special end-of-the-season event that will take place at the brand-new USBC International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas, televised on ESPN April 18th. Winner return, the men's final. Bill O'Neill taking on Ronnie Russell. One of them will win their first ever Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title. We welcome you back to Thunderbowl in Allen Park, Michigan, the Chameleon Championship from the Women's Series. It's gone to Shannon Pluhowsky, 268 to 204 over Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. Time now for the men's championship match. Ronnie Russell taking on that man, Bill O'Neill. And it'll be O'Neill starting us off first. Both of these competitors seeking their first ever tour title.
Bammo! Very interesting strategy early up. Bill O'Neill is going to try to play the extreme outside part of the lane. Ronnie Russell around the 3rd arrow. Again, the middle part of the lane scorched, on fire, no oil to hold the ball off. So the players have to play right of center. What makes it tough is you know that when you do that and you miss left of target, there's no way the ball's going to hold off.
Heavy, but could have been much worse for Russell.
Well, he actually made a big move and moved in, and that was closer to fourth arrow, right through the face. As you could see the matchup here, 12 TV finals for O'Neal, only 2 for Ronnie Russell.
How about a quick bio blast for Ronnie Russell? Lettered in 5 different sports in high school, much like you did, Randy. Favorite movie, another reason we both love him, Talladega Nights.
How could you not love somebody who's a huge fan of Talladega Nights?
It's outrageous. It's incomprehensible. And, of course, living in Indy, you're obligated to be a Colts and Pacers fan.
And I think early on, 2 good breaks for Ronnie Russell. Both shots go high and through the nose, no split. He leaves a 6-pin in the first, leaves a 4-7 here. It's going to come down to who avoids the open frames and stays out of trouble.
Jesus.
So Russell starts off with a pair of spares, and Ronnie, this close to your first title, what were some of the things you were telling yourself before you began this match?
Just try to be patient and take it one shot at a time. Obviously got some transition I'm dealing with, so we can fix it.
Thanks, Ronnie. O'Neal in the second, working off an opening strike.
Come on, let it fall. 16. Let it fall. Come on.
Boy, this chameleon oiled pattern has gotten to every one of our competitors today.
You think?
Just a smidge. Bill O'Neal still in search of his first career title, lost in the semifinals of the Motor City Open to Chris Barnes. This is 5th year on the tour.
When I do eventually win, it's going to be, at this point, it's going to be just a huge relief. You know I have the talent and the ability. My game has improved so much. I feel like, at this point, I could very easily have, 4 or 5 titles. So in my mind, I'm underachieving. But when that does happen, it's just going to be a huge relief.
I thought that was a tight lane.
We've seen a lot of Bill O'Neal, and it's now getting to that point where, hey, when is he going to win? When's he going to win his first title? All right, well done, covering the 3-6-10. Again, it's all about filling frames, avoiding the open frames, staying out of trouble.
Throw like you know how to throw it. Come on.
With so much riding on the line and bowling on such a brutal oil pattern, it's really hard to pry it off your hand.
And really, only in the women's finals did we see somebody pull away.
And that was Southpaw Shannon Pluhowsky.
First strike of the match for Ronnie Russell. Threw that one just under 20 miles an hour. Russell takes the lead with that strike by 1.
He's hoping for a lot of that the rest of this match. Again, 2 players that have yet to win on this tour. Looking for their first title and a berth into the Tournament of Champions.
Leaves the 10.
Hit the pocket. It's good.
Yeah, that's real good. Again, keep the ball in play. Keep it around the 1-3.
And don't make major mistakes.
Right, and that's why I said when you revisit the first and second frame of Ronnie Russell's, both shots went high, no split. Leaves himself something that can be converted. Single pin spare, and he leaves the 4-7. There's a 10-pin there. This is old school, man. Back in the day, you didn't see 250s to 260s and 270s to 260s. You saw 190 to 2-0 and 2-0 to 2-10. They were tough. You converted spares, you stayed out of trouble, and you just grinded on it.
It's old school day in Detroit. More from the men's final when we return to the PBA World Series of Bowling.
Welcome back to the PBA Chameleon Championship here at the World Series of Bowling. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson back here with you. Bill O'Neill, nicknamed The Real Deal, and here is Bill on the real story of his nickname.
No one out here calls me The Real Deal, but I guess in college, my college coach gave me that name after the first tournament I bowled. I won that tournament, but no one out here calls me The Real Deal.
They just might if he wins today and if he takes the first major of the season, the PBA World Championship.
O'Neill is a semifinalist along with Player of the Year Wes Malott, Rhino Page, who won last week's Viper Championship, and Thomas Smallwood, a former Detroit area auto worker who is now an exempt player on the tour.
What a great story. You'll be able to see that one. The PBA World Championship live, coming away from North Rock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas, Sunday, December 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Wichita. Get your signs ready now.
Turned his back on the messenger and didn't happen for him anyway. But again, ball in the pocket. Leave yourself something you can make. And Rob, you said something about no perfect game. How about a 200 game?
How about just some strikes paired together?
Let's see a 200 game.
And we're not knocking these guys. I mean, these are the best in the world at their profession. This oil pattern and these lanes are just eating everybody up.
Yeah, they're brutal.
Now, you stay clean, you've had a good game.
Yeah.
We go to the fifth. O'Neill down 2. Gets the 7 to drop fairly late. 10 stays.
And can I just point out something to you, my friend?
Please.
That when the lanes get really, really hard, a lot of the times the best way to attack them is straight. And that's what they're doing. There's Jason Belmonte pulling for his buddy Bill O'Neill. Both players trying to go straighter. Straighter is greater when the lanes get nasty.
That's 2 good ones.
Next week, Jason Belmonte will be on our show. He's in the semifinals of the Scorpion Championship. Ronnie Russell seeking his first tour title. Defeated Sean Rash by 2 with a 172, today's high score. Right through the nose again. Pretty good break, though. And neither of these guys have been put in some precarious spare situations.
Not yet. This could have been, 5 or 6 through the middle easy. Again, a nice break of only leaving the 4-7. With a conversion here, we're back to a 1-pin match. And it's just going to come down to who makes the better shots, period. I mean, I know that sounds a little cliche-ish, but...
hold on.
That's your big mistake, and that's what you have to avoid.
It's plastic. It shouldn't hook that much. Come on.
That's exactly what you were talking about.
Now he's in a 10-pin hole, and with the inability to hit the pocket, how do you throw a double and get back in the match?
All right, well, O'Neill, though, only has 1 strike, and it came in the first. But he does not have an open frame, as he as well seeks his first tour title. Russell steps up in the 6th, down 10. I see you nodding your head.
Nicely done.
Second strike of the game for Ronnie Russell. 1 on the right, 1 on the left. Bill O'Neill exhales. He opened up with a strike. Since then,
Looks nice. We remind you to head on over to PBA.com to check out Extra Frame, the PBA's online subscription video service. Some of the many features of Extra Frame include exclusive player interviews, like some early round tournament coverage, and a brand new highlight show called 39 by 60. Click on the Extra Frame link at PBA.com to sign up today. And if you are lucky, you may stumble on a broadcast that features our own Randy Peterson.
Thanks, Rob.
Anything to plug you in your life.
Hey, guess what? Bill O'Neill's had 3 balls in the pocket. Only 1 strike, but 3 in the pocket.
Get off.
Ah, come on. God.
Okay, I'll call that a half pocket shot. So that's 4 balls in the pocket. That's a good sign.
Oh, that's fair.
How sensitive this oil pattern is and what the guys have to do to manipulate the bowling ball just to get it to the pocket.
And I tell you what, single pin spares are no gimmies out here either. We have seen a lot of whiffs on spares this afternoon.
Yeah, and Rob, what happens is you get so focused on trying to strike or trying to figure out how to strike, you lose a little bit of concentration when shooting a relatively easy spare, and the next thing you know, you whiff it.
The Chameleon has gotten into their heads.
It's a bad, bad animal.
A strike will tie it up here in the 7th for Russell. We are not tied.
Are you kidding me? Move in, do something different. Don't throw it exactly the same. Damn it.
And you see how that was like 6 for a moment there and then breaks everything else out, only leaving the 7-pin. Last time he whiffed the 4-7 on this lane. Look out.
No whiffing there, but made it close, so a spare after that strike in the 6th. And yeah, need a strike there. You just heard Ronnie Russell say he needs a string of strikes right now to get himself back into this title game with Bill O'Neill.
He's running out of time.
Russell down 10 to kick off the 8th.
It's not going to come to you.
I mean, you're looking at that, Randy, as a competitor, and you're saying, that's a strike, but you're walking back with 9.
That's okay. He gets the finish on that left lane. He did strike the frame before on this left lane, so I think he's probably feeling real comfortable. Now he needs to cover this spare, figure out what adjustment he needs to make on the right lane, and then finish it off in the 10th.
Come on, man.
Misses
You
another
gotta be kidding me.
spare conversion.
Ball started right off at the damn 10-pin.
2 open frames.
You know I had to hook it with a plastic ball to 10-pin. Come on.
And that may have handed it to O'Neill.
Rob, I think it was more of missing target left than it was the plastic ball hooking by the 10-pin.
This is O'Neill's for the taking.
And you notice no reaction. He's like, okay.
Let's move to the 9th and let's keep it going. There's his buddy, Jason Belmonte. He, O'Neill, and Michael Fagan becoming kind of the 3 amigos in the PBA.
They got their man cave set up here in Detroit, hanging out, working with their games, throwing a lot of strikes out here on the tour, the World Series of Bowling. Right now, all eyes on Bill O'Neill as he eyes his first ever title.
$25,000 check and an exemption next season also on the line. Back.
Oh my.
To the spare ball he goes, and look at Jason's reaction. Oh, a defiant 10.
Watch this messenger just cut it right in front of the 10-pin.
Hey, cut in line. Didn't even hit you, just cut right in line at Kmart.
Boy, that would have put him in the 200s and just about sealed the deal.
Hey, but they've been tough all day, and they're going to remain to be tough. No gimmies. It better be perfect.
Ronnie Russell now gets up in the 9th frame, needing to strike out to shoot 193. Bill O'Neill can go strike spare in the 10th to shoot 195. This is Ronnie Russell's only chance of winning. He must strike out, in my opinion.
One down.
Ronnie Russell's going to look back on this title match, and he's going to say, what if?
What if I didn't whiff the 4-7 in the 6th frame or in the 5th frame? What if I didn't whiff a 10-pin in the 8th frame?
3 strikes in this match for Russell. None of them have been paired together. Ditto for O'Neill. I mean, amazing. A title match, and neither one will have paired together some strikes, at least as of now. Russell in the 10th.
Come on, baby. Hit.
There's your pair. Drops the deuce. 2 more
Re-rack
would suit him well as he asks for a re-rack.
One more gets Ronnie Russell in the 190s. He's taking a re-rack. Remember, he bowled the 9th frame. Now he's bowling the 10th frame. That's a long time for Bill O'Neill to sit and wait to bowl his 10th frame. Biggest shot of his career coming up right now.
As O'Neill watches, both of them seeking their first tour title.
Hit! Huge! Rob, that was magnificent. What a shot.
Now his wife, Michelle, has got to be proud of her hubby right there. What a showing here in the 9th and 10th from Russell.
Hit!
One more to give him a 193 and put some serious heat on O'Neill.
What a great finish. Now, here's the situation. Bill O'Neill can go 9 spare 9
and win by 1. Anything less than 7 on this first ball, Bill O'Neill loses.
Strike him down.
What a way to throw it for the wheat.
I love the focus on O'Neill.
He needs 8 pins and 2 balls.
He popped up after Russell was done in the 10th, and he saw that look saying, I have been this close too many times. This one is not going to slip away. Finished twice as the runner-up last season. 3 times in his career. Now he wants his first title. 8 pins will give it to him.
You got it, Billy! Big kiss there for his fiancée, Christy White. Finally for O'Neill.
Well, this is when you know you've arrived on the PBA Tour. You step up in the 10th frame, the biggest moment of your career, and you throw a shot like this on a very demanding oil pattern to win your first ever career title. This is what it's all about.
And we will hear from the real deal next.
The PBA Chameleon Championship is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Bayer Aspirin, expect wonders. And by the United States Bowling Congress. The all-new bowl.com, your online source for all things bowling. Log on to bowl.com today. Welcome back to Thunderbowl, where Bill O'Neill has just defeated Ronnie Russell 205 to 192. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. This story, pretty simple, actually, Randy.
Well, it really is. It's a story with two tales. One is Bill O'Neill taking a big risk in playing the outside part of the lane. The second is Ronnie Russell missing not one, but two easy spares. That's the difference in the match.
Come on, man.
Ronnie Russell gives a huge opening to Bill O'Neill, who steps up in the 10th frame and does that to win his first ever career title.
6 strikes in the title match for Bill O'Neill, and with that victory, he qualifies for the PBA Experience Showdown presented by Bowl.com. It's a special end-of-the-season event that will take place at the brand-new USBC International Training and Research Center in Arlington. You can see it on ESPN Sunday, April 11th. Here's Randy with our winner.
Hey, champ. How does it feel finally?
It's just an unbelievable feeling. It's such a relief. I've thrown so many bad shots on TV when I've needed it, and that one was one of the best shots I've ever thrown in the 10th frame there. And I wanted him to double. I wanted to go do it. I didn't want it to be handed to me, and I did it. So,
what were you thinking when you were sitting there watching him finish the 9th and 10th, and then he forced you to show up in the 10th frame? What went through your mind before you threw that first shot in the 10th?
Well, I thought if I don't do it here, when I go home, my mom is going to punch me in the face. And then she's going to ask me every day until I win, how can you not get a strike there? So that's what I was thinking about.
Thanks, Billy. Congratulations, man.
O'Neill made 7 shows last season, finishing second twice. He gets his first ever tour title here. Thunderbowl as part of the World Series of Bowling. Shannon Pluhowsky with a victory over Carolyn Dorin-Ballard earlier in the day. Coming your way next Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN, it's the Scorpion Championship. Jason Belmonte will be there, as will Sean Rash. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Congratulations to Bill O'Neill.